There are two motives for reading a book: one, that you enjoy it; the other, that you can boast about it. The fundamental cause of the trouble is that in the modern world the stupid are cocksure while the intelligent are full of doubt, and if there were a God, I think it very unlikely that he would have such an uneasy vanity as to be offended by those who doubt his existence. Three passions, simple but overwhelmingly strong, have governed my life: the longing for love, the search for knowledge, and unbearable pity for the suffering of mankind. A stupid man's report of what a clever man says can never be accurate, because he unconsciously translates what he hears into something he can understand. To teach how to live without certainty, and yet without being paralyzed by hesitation, is perhaps the chief thing that philosophy, in our age, can still do for those who study it. Those who have never known the deep intimacy and the intense companionship of happy mutual love have missed the best thing that life has to give. We know very little, and yet it is astonishing that we know so much, and still more astonishing that so little knowledge can give us so much power. It has been said that man is a rational animal. All my life I have been searching for evidence which could support this. Collective fear stimulates herd instinct, and tends to produce ferocity toward those who are not regarded as members of the herd. If there were in the world today any large number of people who desired their own happiness more than they desired the unhappiness of others, we could have paradise in a few years. I believe in using words, not fists. I believe in my outrage knowing people are living in boxes on the street. I believe in honesty. I believe in a good time. I believe in good food. I believe in sex. The secret of happiness is this: let your interest be as wide as possible and let your reactions to the things and persons who interest you be as far as possible friendly rather than hostile. I think we ought always to entertain our opinions with some measure of doubt. I shouldn't wish people dogmatically to believe any philosophy, not even mine. When considering marriage, one should ask oneself this question: will I be able to talk with this person into old age? Everything else is transitory. The most time is spent in conversation. Advocates of capitalism are very apt to appeal to the sacred principles of liberty, which are embodied in one maxim: the fortunate must not be restrained in the exercise of tyranny over the unfortunate. There is no reason to suppose that the world had a beginning at all. The idea that things must have a beginning is really due to the poverty of our thoughts. One of the painful things about our time is that those who feel certainty are stupid, and those with any imagination and understanding are filled with doubt and indecision. It is essential to happiness that our way of living should spring from our own deep impulses and not from the accidental tastes and desires of those who happen to be our neighbors, or even our relations. Almost everything that distinguishes the modern world from earlier centuries is attributable to science, which achieved its most spectacular triumphs in the 17th century. Love can flourish only as long as it is free and spontaneous. It tends to be killed by the thought of duty. To say that it is your duty to love so-and-so is the surest way to cause you to hate him or her. I say quite deliberately that the Christian religion, as organized in its churches, has been and still is the principal enemy of moral progress in the world. Aristotle maintained that women have fewer teeth than men, although he was twice married. It never occurred to him to verify this statement by examining his wives' mouths. Conventional people are roused to fury by departure from convention, largely because they regard such departure as a criticism of themselves. A sense of duty is useful in work but offensive in personal relations. People wish to be liked, not to be endured with patient resignation. It is not what the man of science believes that distinguishes him, but how and why he believes it. His beliefs are tentative, not dogmatic. They are based on evidence, not on authority or intuition. We have in fact, two kinds of morality, side by side, one which we preach, but do not practice, and another which we practice, but seldom preach. The wise man thinks about his troubles only when there is some purpose in doing so. At other times he thinks about other things, or, if it is night, about nothing at all. It seems to me a fundamental dishonesty, and a fundamental treachery to intellectual integrity to hold a belief because you think it's useful and not because you think it's true. The main things which seem to me important on their own account, and not merely as means to other things, are knowledge, art, instinctive happiness, and relations of friendship or affection. We do not like to be robbed of an enemy, we want someone to hate when we suffer. It is so depressing to think that we suffer because we are fools, yet, taking mankind in the mass, that is the truth. Whenever you find yourself getting angry about a difference of opinion, be on your guard. You will probably find, on examination, that your belief is going beyond what the evidence warrants. Most of the greatest evils that man has inflicted upon man have come through people feeling quite certain about something which, in fact, was false. Sometimes the hardest thing in life is to know which bridge to cross and which to burn. Never try to discourage thinking, for you are sure to succeed.